30 minutes and I'll convince you of anything.
Starring Mark Steele, Maria McCurlane and Pete Sinclair.
Good evening and welcome to the Mark Steele Solution, the programme where each week I come up with a radical proposal to change all of our lives for the better. And tonight's proposal concerns the economy, because at the moment everyone is agreed it is completely in disarray. The government, in fact, in the last few weeks has been behaving like one of these blokes you get down the pub. And they were going, look, I'll tell you what, mate, no one tells me to devalue the bloody pound, mate. I'll set my bloody pound how I want. No bloody kraut's going to come in here and tell me I've got to have our bloody... I'll tell you what, no one bloody talks that. I'll devalue it when I bloody want to, and I'm not going to devalue it. And then one day they went in there and went, yeah, well, I weren't ready, was I? I mean, like, I ain't devalued it, have I? I just changed it about a bit, haven't I? There was 9 of them. What can I do? Like, soon the English money markets, if it carries on like this, it'll just be like any other market. They'll be up the city with a wheelbarrow and a pound going, come along, ladies, here you are, get the pound, here you go. I'm not asking you 2 marks, 82, 72, 60 or 250. I'll tell you what, these are 5 marks in Smiths. These have been on the telly, these police 5. Ha! Here you go, ladies, it's your lucky day. I'm not asking 2 marks, 1 mark 50 would be the best bargain you've ever seen in your life. Here you go, ladies, half a penny, stick your hands up, go on. So, in fact, before long, you'll have these Indian hippies, I reckon, walking around London with backpacks on going, you can live like a king in England for a month on 4 rupees. That's why tonight's proposal is... that all government economic policy should be decided by sport. So, for instance, every Saturday, the interest rates would either go up or down, depending on how well Fulham did in the Football League. Now, some people might say, well, that's crazy, but I'd say crazy, is it? Well, how's it decided at the moment?
Hello.
What's up?
Portuguese Minister of Fish has resigned.
Bye, Franks!
Sell escudos!
Sell fish cakes!
Sell fish cakes!
Gilda's up 2.5!
Sell pie tulips!
Sell Portugal!
Sell Venezuelan Bolivar!
Sell Bolivar!
Buy pesetas!
1 peseta, 2 peseta, 3 peseta, 4!
5 pesetas, 6 pesetas, 7 pesetas, more!
Cup of coffee!
2 sugars!
3 sugars!
Pounds down to 3 sugars!
Sell sterling!
Sell sterling!
Sterling!
Lunch break!
Buy another Porsche.
It's mad. I'll tell you what I'd like to do is to take the stock market out of London and put it somewhere like the middle of Suffolk, because then there'd be all these people in there going, buy, sell, no, quick, get rid of it, no, France, sell, have it, no, 49.3, 61, no, that's too high, buy it, sell it, no, no. And all the people working there would be going, calm you down. Getting all hurt and carrying on now. And the trouble is that at the moment, the government's economic policies can be turned round overnight if the markets decide to get the ump with them. They could make the government do almost anything.
Good evening. The Chancellor is under increasing pressure from the City tonight to scrap the pound and replace it with the licorice all sort. This report from our financial correspondent, Felicity Burbidge.
Well, Robin, it's been a hectic few hours here in the city. The market clearly believes that a change in currency towards some form of confectionery would benefit the economy. And they seem to have plumped for the all sort. As a result, traders have been rushing frantically from one sweet shop to the next, forcing prices up and even buying those little blue aniseedy ones that stick to your tongue.
Earlier today, the Chancellor said he would take whatever measures were necessary to defend the pound.
There are no circumstances under which we will change our successful economic policy of not having little pink and yellow sweeties as the currency.
And we've just heard that the Bank of England has intervened. Professor Plunkett, what's going on?
Well, the bank is desperately trying to protect the pound by flooding the market with licorice from its own reserves in an effort to keep prices down.
Felicity, how is the City reacting?
Well, Robin, it appears to be having very little effect. In fact, the latest exchange rate is 1.2 licorice all sorts to the pound.
Speaking just a few moments ago, the Chancellor reaffirmed his determination to defend the pound. All right, Mr. Chancellor, let me put it to you again. Are there any circumstances at all ever, in a million years, cross your heart and hope to die, under which you will replace the pound with licorice all sorts.
No, 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 no.
And we're going over live to Downing Street.
In the light of the exceptional whirlwind of the last few hours, I have decided to abolish the pound and replace it with the licorice all sort. As I wanted to do all along. And people trying to blame it on just a few evil speculators, as if the banks that were employing the speculators are going, "Oi, you, what are you doing?" I just made 10 million quid for the bank, sir. How dare you? That's not what we pay you for. Now go and take this parcel of food to an old blind lady. And the way things are done at the moment, the government's economic policies are also affected by them wanting to be re-elected. So 6 months before an election, it's like a school bully suddenly discovering that he's got to stand for an election.
I'll tell you what, vote for me and I promise to review my policy of nicking your dinner money.
Yeah, you said that last time. I'm going to vote for Taffy. He's only going to nick half our dinner money.
Yeah, but how's he going to pay for it? You vote for him and beatings will be up 45%.
Oh, yeah. I did read that somewhere. What do you reckon, Taff?
Mr. Bully, the only way is a policy not of bullying, but of balloting. Not of dinner money, but of alimony. Not of confiscation, but of defecation. Not of Armageddon, but of armadillo.
Oh, bloody hell, I'm not voting for him.
Right, that's me in again. Give us your dinner money.
But the main thing that decides economic policy at the moment, whichever party is in government, is the needs of big business and of big businessmen. But they have to make out that it's for everybody's benefit. Many people find the government's economic policies confusing. We hope that this information film will answer some of the most common questions that we get asked.
My boss pays less tax than ever before. Doesn't this make the rest of us worse off?
Not at all. Your boss will spend that money on an extra factory, employing more people. So we'll all be better off.
Oh, but my boss has just given himself a whacking great pay rise. Won't that make me worse off?
Not at all. The more your boss earns, the more incentive he has to work hard and pay you better wages. So we'll all be better off.
Oh, but my boss wants to cut my wages. Won't that make me worse off?
Not at all. The less you get paid, the lower inflation will be. So you'll actually have more money. In fact, why not work for nothing? And if you've got some savings tucked away, give them to your boss. You'll be rolling in it, and we'll all be much better off.
Oh, but my boss has just broken into my house and stolen all my furniture, tied me up and run away to the Bahamas with my husband. Won't that make me worse off?
Not at all.
So I think then that we're all agreed that the way that the government decides its economic policy at the moment is daft. The only question is, what would we do instead? Well, before we hear the Mark Steele solution, let's hear from our regular correspondent, the voice of the cul-de-sac, Mr. Cul-de-sac. Economic policies, they're an outrage. Look at that public sector borrowing requirement. It should go and do its own shopping instead of always borrowing things. I'm not lending it any of my sugar. And who does the Chancellor of the Exchequer think he is, wandering around 11 Downing Street with that tatty old briefcase of his, lowering the tone of the neighbourhood? God knows what his next-door neighbour must think. And look at him going around lowering the value of the pound. It's an outrage. Have a good mind to go over there and torpedo his garden shed, lower the value of that. Oh, difference then. They were going to build a bank near here. I said, I'm not having it. If people want money, they should go and do a day's work for a change. No wonder them blokes up the council sit around doing nothing all day long if they can just go down the bank and get 20 quid every time they write a cheque out. No wonder the country's in a mess. I went to Italy once. I bought an ice cream. They said, that'll be 3,000 lira, Mr. Cul-de-sac. I said, what? You're getting 50, same as it is in England. They said, we'll send the mafia after you. I said, I'm not having them coming round here shooting all the pebble dashing off the wall with their gunfights. I've only just had it done. It's an outrage. And look at the money they wasted propping up the pound. They should never have got drunk in the first place. They could have spent that money hanging people. It's an outrage. And what about all them economic experts keeping me awake all hours of the day and night on the television with their statistics? They should bloody well stop counting things and go and do something useful, like poison next door's hamster for a change. Coming in my garden, ruining me radishes with its droppings. And look at the price of a 24p stamp. 24p they tried to charge me. They used to be free, nobody cares. And look at the rows they have over Europe. I had a row with the man in the shoe shop about Europe. He said Brussels was in Belgium. I said it was in Spain. You didn't catch me going on Newsnight about it, did you? There you are. I've written some letters to the Chancellor. Here they are. Dear Chancellor, yesterday I bought one of your 5p pieces. It was too small. Next thing you know, they'll be losing them down the back of an atom. Here's another one. Dear Chancellor, why is there always a policeman outside your house? You shouldn't be the Chancellor if you can't stop stealing things. Here's another one. Here's another one. Dear Chancellor, why? Well, that's as far as I got with that one, but it's coming on. Thank you, Mr. Cul-de-sac. Now, some people say all that's needed is a change of government, but the Labour Party doesn't even seem to want to be elected. For instance, in the election, they said that they were going to spend 600 million quid on education. And then Heseltine would come on and the Labour Party would go, oh, no, it's their really good one. You go on against it. But he's not good, he's an idiot. It's just that he can say the odd things that like a Shakespeare quotation, and then they all think he's good, so he just comes on and says things like, where's the money going to come from? Once more unto the tax, my friends, that's the Labour Party. To tax or to tax, that is the question, that's the Labour Party. Tax you, wherefore art thou tax you, that's the Labour Party. And that's enough to make the Labour Party go, oh, I'm sorry, well, maybe we'll just raise tax by a farthing and phase it in over 100 million years or something like this. But I was thinking, well, I'd love to be on that programme against Heseltine, because when he said, where's that £600 million going to come from? I'd just say, well, from you, you rich git, that's where. Like, I've read somewhere you've got 60 million quid, you and 9 of your rich mates, there we are, we've cracked it, 600 million. Surely a vote-winning soundbite. But instead you had Kinnock, who just didn't seem to even want to win. He seemed determined to lose. Like, even when they were way ahead in the polls, I thought, nah, they ain't going to win, because he's determined to lose. Kinnock will come on about 5 minutes before the polls open and go, and one more thing, if we win, we're going to stab everyone in the nuts. Now, another answer that you hear sometimes is from these old hippies who go, oh, look, I don't know why we need money, man. I mean, we should just, like, barter. Now, at first sight, this does seem to have its merits. Morning.
Morning. I'll have a pound of apples, a packet of biscuits and a banana, please.
Certainly, madam. There you are. That'll cost you a pound of apples, a packet of biscuits and a banana, please. Thank you.
Bye.
But would this work for more complicated things?
Hello, estate agents. Can I help you?
Yes, we've seen a house we like. How much is it?
That'll cost you a house.
Oh, well, we haven't got a house.
I see. Well, how much can you stretch to?
Well, we've got a pound of apples, a packet of biscuits and a banana.
I'm afraid the only thing we've got in that price bracket is a pound of apples, a packet of biscuits and a banana.
Oh, well, we'll just have to live in that then.
Now, one of the alternatives to the present system is the sort of state-run economy that they used to have in Eastern Europe. For instance, I went to Czechoslovakia a few years ago, and you get to the border and you have to change up all this money, £11 per day per person, and then you get this big bag of kronas. So you think, right, first thing, I better get something to eat, so you go in somewhere, ein Gulasch, bitte. There we are, made an effort. Ein Gulasch, ein Krona. Ein Krona. Ein Krona, what's that, 1 krona, isn't it? Can't be 1 krona, surely, is it? Did you say 1 krona? That's what it must be, 1 krona. I've got about 40 million here. What am I going to do with all these? Oh, I'll have a beer as well then. Ein Bier, bitte. Ein Bier, ein Krona. Oh, come on. Not everything can be 1 krona. We better have a 10, that's the smallest there is. But then I thought, well, I've got to get rid of this money. It's no use to me when I get back to England, is it? You've got to get rid of it. So I thought, well, then maybe the thing to do is to buy expensive things that I couldn't afford if I was back in England, like maybe buy a helicopter or something like that. Maybe that'll be 6 kroners or something. But it doesn't work like that, because anything that isn't beer or goulash, you've got to buy with foreign currency. So there's just hundreds of people up and down the street going, psh, 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 Mr. Torres, come here, I change money for you. What you got? You got the mark, you got sterling, you got the franc, you got peseta, anything you like, I change money for you. I give you very good rate. Come here, and you go in a bar somewhere, ein beer, ein krona. But they change money for you. I give you a very good rate. I give you 4 times the official rate. I tell you first, you, sir, you got special smile on your face. I give you 5 times the official rate. And I thought, God, this would be like if you went in your local greengrocers and the woman there went, all right, dear, well, there's your mushrooms, there's your tomatoes, love, all right, there you go. I've got a little bit of Moroccan I've been saving for you. It's lovely and fresh. What do you want? 1/4 of an ounce, a little bit over there, darling. And so the final alternative we have to consider is the one that's put forward by people who want to see a return to the days when Britain was Britain and Europe was a place we dropped bombs on. Our proud nation is under attack, and once again the enemy is the wily Hun. Only this time, instead of the Luftwaffe, it's the SS Führers of the Bundesbank who are calling the shots.
We have ways of making you devalue your pound.
But the plucky Brits will never surrender.
Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Cole, if you think the pound is done? Right, pay attention, men. I want you all to go down to the bank and spend all your savings to defend the pound. Are you sure that's wise, Captain Mannering?
Don't panic, Mr. Mannering, don't panic, Mr. Mannering. I'd like to volunteer to put interest rates up. They don't like it happen.
Do you see that, Wilson? As long as there's men like Corporal Jones, we shall never devalue.
Uncle Arthur, my mum says they've just devalued.
Stupid boy.
But never fear, it won't be long before Tubby, Cole and his spotty chums in Brussels are forced to eat their foreign words and once again bow down before the majesty of the pound. I saw a minister on the television after the pound was devalued saying, but London is still the centre of the financial world. Therefore, the pound is still the most important currency. Well, Wimbledon's the centre of the tennis world, isn't it? But it don't mean that British tennis players aren't shit. So it's obvious that the only possible fair way of making economic decisions is to make them depend upon the outcome of sport. So that under our scheme, Newsnight would be like this.
The headlines tonight. Interest rates down as Fulham lose again. VAT remains the same as Rain stops play in the second test. And in Washington, Nick Faldo Bird is on the 18th and put £600 on a married man's tax allowance.
Good evening. As interest rates fell again today, we ask, is the exchange rate mechanism a viable support structure for Britain's long-term fiscal ambitions? Or is it simply a constraint on the national decision-making process inhibiting Britain's potential for boosting GMP within the macroeconomic superstructure? Frank Bruno.
Well, Harry, the way I see it, if I beat him, we stay in the ERM, and if I lose, then we're out. But I'm feeling fit, Harry. Know what I mean, Harry? Know what I mean?
Just think how much better it would be. Everyone would be able to understand how the economy works.
I'll tell you what, Kev, that public sector borrowing requirement is going to go up and up and up as long as they got Clough as the manager.
Here, I've had a tip. Stamp duty's going up on the 18th.
Never. How'd you know that?
Well, a trainer told me Shepherd's Boy's going to win the Grand National.
What, Shepherd's Boy? It's only got 3 legs.
And it would be much harder for politicians to bullshit. Because at the moment they say, yes, it looks as if we've cut spending on health, but the underlying trend, in real terms, shows that there are 4 nurses for every human being in Britain. Whereas if it was sport...
Minister, you said last week that Bristol Rovers would beat Tottenham. In fact, they lost 6-0. You must be disappointed.
Not at all. If you look at the underlying trend, Bristol Rovers in fact won 3-0.
Don't be silly, Minister.
Right. But if you take into account the number of throw-ins and divide the number of linesmen by the and add the floodlight and subtract the ball and the pitch, corner, penalty. All right, I resign. Even watching football would be more fun, because you'd get fans going, "We're going to cut your budget deficit." And European currency unit. And instead of the stock market, you'd just have the football pools. So there would still be an element of gambling, but it'd be a fair gamble. Because at the moment, you have to be rich to get a chance of even taking part. And the richer you are, the less of a gamble it is. Because by putting all your money into a certain type of share or currency, you push the value of it up anyway. And the very rich have also got all the inside knowledge, which helps them know where to put their money. Whereas under our system, the rich would be at a disadvantage, because none of them know anything about sport.
Apparently, Peregrine, the smart money is on shares in Amalgamated Plastics.
Oh, why is that?
Well, they're linked to Scunthorpe United.
Oh.
Yeah, and a little bird in the financial world tells me that Scunthorpe are a good bet to win the European Cup.
Oh, jolly good. Who told you that?
My butler. Very kind of him, considering I'd sacked him the day before.
That is kind. Count me in for $1 million or two.
And he also told me that a chap called Lester Piggott
is
going to win the World's Sumo Wrestling Championship.
We're in the money.
And apparently Konoshiki the dump truck is going to ride the winner of the Grand National.
We can't lose. And you wouldn't get the sort of mad decisions that are made under the present system. Like the people who decide things at the moment are so out of touch with what's needed that they could be shipwrecked on a desert island and they go, right, now the first thing we're going to need is a 600-foot office block at the east end of the island, nowhere near a tube station. And under our scheme, if you did end up with something like Canary Wharf, all you do is you get all the homeless people from the area, stick them in front of a dartboard and go, right, first 500 to get double top, you got yourself a flat. And another thing is that you wouldn't have entire continents crippled with international debt that are spending years going, oh, bloody hell, the bills are here again. Well, we'll have to sell another desert, I suppose. Because under our scheme, they just ring up the World Bank and go, hello, Brazil here. Yeah, you know that 30 billion quid we owe you? Right, game of snooker, double or quits. And top managers of companies, like British Telecom, would still have their salaries linked to performance, but it would be the performance of Eddie the Eagle. And under our scheme, newspapers would be more interesting.
In today's financial climate, it pays to keep ahead of the competition. With the rapid changes sweeping through the world of business, more than ever, you'll need to be better informed. That's why the best financial advice is always in the Sunday Sport.
Yes, 20 pages of sizzling financial results.
Can Beefy Botham bowl Britain back to business?
Keep abreast of the markets with our boom or bust economist.
Hey, what a massive surplus!
Plus, 20 hot tips from the FTSE Index, brought to you by top tipster Lucky Larry.
It's all in your super sizzling speculating Sunday Sport.
So remember, no SS, no comment.
It's the only solution. We have to reject the economics of the madhouse and insist that economic policies are decided by sport. So, with the Mark Still solution in operation, let's join a typical budget day grandstand.
Well, the big day's finally here. We'll be bringing you all the budget details as the results come in. And I'm afraid it's bad news for beer drinkers. Ian Botham out for naught, so beer's up twopence a pint. Let's find out what's happened to cigarettes.
And so Alex Higgins only needs the black. And that's it. Threepence off a packet of 20.
News coming in all the time. Let's get the very latest details from Peter O'Sullivan.
And as they come to the final furlong, it's Timmy's Lad. Timmy's Lad, meaning a 24 pence in the pound basic rate of income tax with a personal allowance of £2,500. But here comes Butcher's Boy. It's Butcher's Boy with 5% on VAT, then Plumber's Pipe with VAT and 10%, but not on tuna sandwiches, not eaten on the premises. And it's Butcher's Boy from Plumber's Pipe, and Royal Flash is making a bid on the outside. Royal Flash, and at the line, it's 10 pence off a gallon of petrol from midnight tonight. VAT goes down to 1%. Electricity is free and old age pensions start at the age of 6.
So, another shock result there. Last week, of course, stamp duty went up 18% after Shepherd's Boy became the first three-legged horse to win the National. Ridden, of course, by Konashiki the dump truck. Now, let's get some reactions. Mrs. Armitage, you're a cleaner on £90 a week. What does this budget mean to you?
Well, I think it's marvellous, Brian. I mean, my kids will get a pension. I can have the blender on all day long. And anyway, I put a £5 on Konashiki the dump truck. My son's a butler, you see.
More news just in. Vinnie Jones has been transferred to Manchester United. The fee, a pound of apples, a packet of biscuits and a banana. Right, earlier today, the England captain Graham Gooch was asked about the prospects for the budget. All right, Mr. Gooch, let me put it to you again. Are there any circumstances at all, ever, in a million years, cross your heart and hope to die, under which you will lose this test match?
No.
Now let's go over live to Lords.
In the light of the exceptional whirlwind of the last few hours, we have lost the test match. As we wanted to do all along. So there we have it. We've come to the end of the series. We've decided that the royal family should be elected by a national lottery, that nobody should be allowed to live in the same family for more than a year, that all judges should be ex-convicts, that no one should start school until they're 35 years old, that everybody born in England should be deported, and, of course, that all government economic policy should be decided by sport. So, with all these Mark Still solutions in place, what would a typical day be like?
Hello, Ada. How are you? Still working at the envelope factory?
Oh, no, I'm the Queen.
Oh, so Bill's king then?
Oh, no, dear. I had to leave him in August. Our year was up. This is my new husband, King Derek.
Pleased to meet you, Your Majesty. You must be well chuffed at winning the lottery.
No, I weren't, mate. Nosher Noggins come straight out of Wandsworth Jail, fined me 500 quid for being a lucky bastard.
You want to set the corgis on him?
Oh, no time, dear. We've got to be at school in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's double maths.
And then I've got to open Parliament.
Does that take long then?
Does now we have to live in Greece.
Still, must be good pay being royal for a week.
Oh, you're joking, dear. Because that Bulgarian weightlifter was sent home after a positive drugs test, the royal family only gets 20 quid a week now.
What do you reckon, Mr. Cul-de-sac?
It's an outrage!